Okay, guys, here we are back again. Chapter 3.2 of the Cuban Missile Crisis. We have already looked at how the crisis has been building up because of the USA's interest and Cuba's response. So, today we have already looked at the overview of the crisis. Now, for this lesson, we're going to look at the Soviet installation of missiles. Okay. Now, when we think about it, moving a nuclear missile from one place to another is not a small thing, right? And if I am a small country in the backyard of a superpower, why would I allow its rival to place nuclear missiles on my soil? Okay, just imagine you're the leader of a nation, then somebody else comes and says, "Hey, I'm gonna put nuclear missiles in your country. Can Then you say, "Okay, can." There must be something going on that motivates that decision, right? So that is what we are going to look at today. We are going to look at two things. Okay, basically the Cuban considerations and the Soviet considerations. Why did Castro allow the USSR to do that? And why did the Soviets want to do such a thing? Okay. So let's have a look. By 1962, the superpowers have been stockpiling nuclear weapons, nuclear submarines, so on and so forth. This is known as the nuclear arms race. Okay, the arms race is well and truly underway. So as in any race, you want to try to get an advantage, right? Okay, and what the Americans have done is they have deployed nuclear missiles in Turkey. Okay, so let's have a look. The next slide is a map. So Turkey is very close to the Soviet Union. I'm going to switch to Google Maps to show you what it looks like. Okay, so here we have Google Maps. Okay, and you see we have Turkey here, and where is it? It is directly next to the Soviet territories, right? If you look at Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, Romania, right in the middle here, all these are the Soviet satellite states, okay? And France, Italy, France, Spain, basically it's so close, okay? Turkey is very close to Mother Russia. So that's where the missiles are. As opposed to zooming out, and you see on the left side of the map, we have the United States. You still can see Turkey on the map. But where are the Soviet missiles? The Soviet missiles are back in Siberia or some other place in Russia, and they have to fly all the way across the Atlantic Ocean in order to hit the targets in the USA. However, the USA has missiles here. Now, what is the big deal about that? Okay, it means that the Soviets, okay, are vulnerable to a nuclear first strike. What is this? Now, remember the map just now? For the missile to cross the Atlantic Ocean, takes a few hours. But for the missile to go from Turkey to Moscow, it's going to take only 1 to 2 hours. Which means, compared to the Soviet missiles going over to the USA, which is 8 hours. In this 8 hours, you have lots of reaction time. Whereas in 1 to 2 hours, you have no reaction time at all. What it means is that now the Soviets are at a disadvantage. Okay, the USA can launch a first strike on them. So if I'm the Soviets, what am I going to do? Of course, I want to neutralize this lah. Okay, so that is what's going on. Now let's think about it. Why, however, if I'm Cuba, why would I bother with this? Okay, I'm not a nuclear power. So why would I want to invite scrutiny by placing nuclear missiles on my soil? Okay, so let's have a look. Remember, what does Castro want? Castro wants to be able to defend himself, right? He wants to protect Cuba. He wants to remove US interference from Cuba, right? Okay. And we also know that Castro was convinced that the USA was going to invade. Why? Because of the Bay of Pigs. Right? We know that Castro was thinking, oh no, the Bay of Pigs means that, sooner or later the USA is going to invade me. Okay? And we remember why did they want the USSR? Because they want an equivalent superpower as an ally, right? To do what? To counterbalance the USA. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So that is why they had a deal with the USSR. That is why they turned communist, so that the USSR is on their side. Okay? So, let's think about it. It's a bit weird, right? If I put nuclear missiles on my country, okay, I'm Castro, if I put nuclear missiles on my country, doesn't it mean that the USA will see me as a threat and then they want to remove those missiles? That makes sense, right? Okay. However, it doesn't work that way. If we look at the diagram over here, okay, if I'm Castro and I allow the Soviets to place missiles on Cuban soil, it means that any American attempt to remove the missiles or to attack Cuba is essentially an attack on the Soviet Union. Okay? And therefore, war on Cuba means the war on the USSR. And will the USA want this? No, because the USA does not want to get into a direct conflict with the USSR. And that is because the USA wants to avoid all-out war with the USSR. This will of course mean nuclear war. It will mean World War III. Okay, Cuba knows this. Okay, Castro knows the USA does not want to go to war, and that is why it leads to the second point here, where we say Castro will do this because it will allow him to defend himself from American aggression. By having the missiles in Cuba, Castro believes that the USA will not launch a military invasion. Okay? So that explains why Castro will allow missiles on Cuba. Now we must look at the Soviet perspective. Why did Khrushchev put nuclear missiles on Cuba? Okay, we can split it into two main areas, political as well as military. Okay, so there is the superpower concern in the picture. We are going to look at how it breaks down. Okay, Khrushchev has two main advantages. Okay, political as well as military and strategic. Let's look at the political one first. Okay. Now, concerning the Berlin Wall happened in 1961, right? And they had put up a wall in between East Berlin and West Berlin. Okay. And what does Khrushchev want? Khrushchev wants more cards in his hand. Okay. Imagine we are playing Uno. Okay. And you know that in my hand, I have a wild draw 4, a reverse, and a +2. Okay. And you only have a skip. Obviously, my hand is better than yours, right? So, what do you have to do? Okay, I got wild draw 4, I got reverse, I got +2, but you only have skip. So, if you want to do anything, you cannot make me do anything, right? What you need to do is to gain more cards, right? You need leverage, okay? In order to make me do things, you need to be able to threaten me. Okay, and that is what Khrushchev is doing. He wants to use these nuclear missiles as a means to, shall we say, convince, okay, the USA to negotiate. Okay, please don't use Uno to explain. I'm just using it to give you a conceptual understanding of how this works. All right. Now, besides that, he also wants to increase his own prestige amongst the communist bloc, right? The rest of the communist countries. Okay, remember that Mao Zedong is in the picture now. And Khrushchev wants to show that he's a better leader than Mao Zedong. Okay, they were criticizing, oh, Khrushchev, you're not a strong leader. How can you be the head of the communist bloc, right? And so Khrushchev needs to score some points within his own political allies. Okay, so the understanding is that by forcing the US to negotiate, okay, it puts Khrushchev in a positive light. Okay, it shows Khrushchev's strength. Making sense so far? Okay. Now let's look at his military and strategic advantages. Now he was narrowing the missile gap. What we are talking about here is a number of nuclear missiles. Now that's fair. Okay. He wants to counter American missiles Okay, that also makes sense. And he wants to secure a geographical base near the USA. Now, this is more to threaten the USA more than anything else. Well, you could say it is to counterbalance US bases in Western Europe. But essentially, if I put missiles near you, it's a threat lah. Okay? So if you look at it, let's think about whether it is justifiable. Okay? Now, is it justifiable to narrow the missile gap? Yes. Why? I must catch up, right? You are threatening me, it's fair lah, I must defend myself. Okay? Can I counter the missile station in Turkey? Yeah lah, you put missiles there, I must counter you, that's fair. But to threaten the USA, this will increase the chance of war? Maybe not. Okay? Now, if I want to leverage concessions, I want to increase my own prestige. So the question is this: if I want to advance the USSR's agenda versus the threat of World War II, of World War III, can it ever be justified? It is very hard to justify any single country's political agenda over the safety of the world. Okay, so you go and think about that. All right. So let's move on to an evaluation of why the Soviets even put the missiles there. Okay, we know the reasons now, right? But how come would they did this? It's like there's a sleeping bear, and then you go and poke the bear. You know you're gonna get attacked, right? But why did the Soviets do this? Okay, they secretly placed it there. Okay, think about this. If I am the Soviets and I happily place the nuclear missiles on the ship and I say, hey, USA, I'm bringing some nuclear missiles to Cuba. Of course, they will stop me, right? Or they will do something, they will react. Okay, but they believe that if they secretly did it, okay, it means the missiles were already in place. That means the missiles are already a threat. And that is why the USA will not do anything. Okay? Are they correct? No. The answer is no. The answer is the USA will react anyway. Okay? So the next lesson, we're going to stop here. In the next lesson, we're going to look at how did the USA react when they discovered that the missiles were already in place. Okay? So the recap, we have gone through why the Cubans and the Soviets placed the nuclear missiles there, even though it goes against all logic to place nuclear missiles near your enemy, because obviously they will react. Okay, so we will stop here.